Table 4, 2.5x open from the button. I'm in the big blind, staring down at pocket kings. Gonna go ahead and put in a 3-bet right off the bat here. Face a small 4-bet. Jam queens plus ace king. Maybe ace 5 suitor is a bluff against this. Be defending pocket pairs somewhere in the 8 to 10 or better range, and most, but maybe not all, suited broadways. Kings into aces right off the bat. Table 1, open 5 from the button, big blind calls. I'll go ahead and stab half pot with my 5s after the check on the 6-3 deuce two-tone board. Table 1, open ace king from middle position. Table 1, blind on blind, face a 3x open. I will defend my ace jack for a call. Go to the flop. Got a piece of it. Queen jack 9 two-tone. Call against pretty much any bet size. Check back against a check. Table 2, 3x open from the cutoff. I'm in the small blind with pocket 7s. That one's kind of close. Probably just outside of standard 3-bet range. I'll go ahead and muck that one. 2.5x open from the cutoff on table 3. This time I'm in the small blind with 10-9 suited. We'll go ahead and pop that one up. Defend against the turn stab over here with ace jack on table 1. Table 2, opening king queen from the cutoff. I don't know there's too much value in betting this. I don't want to do a, a trap 9 or some kind of like queen that got nervous and checked the turn. I think just taking the showdown is good there. Table 3, open king jack from the or king 10 rather from the button. Go ahead and put in a small bet on ace jack 6. Table 4, going to defend the big blind with the min raise under the gun with ace 6 suited. Table 3, I got check call. Turn is an offsuit. Now I'm going to go ahead and blast some gut shots. I think the ones with the heart blocker is a good way to start prioritizing those. Go ahead and blast the king 10 with the heart. Table 1 got a recreational player limping. I'll go ahead and isolate out of the blinds with ace king suited. Under the gun. It might be a little bit too tight, but I'll go ahead and let that one go. Turn some showdown value there with that king. It is a flush closure. I'm trying to think I really have any kind of busted draws here that can keep betting. If my ace king might not really have showdown value here. I mean, queen 10 got there. Not really blasting the pairs. Flush draws got there. I guess I've still got 7-8, but this has a good blocker. Blocks the hearts. I think I'm going to go ahead and turn this into a bluff. Table 3, opening kings from the cutoff. Recreational player comes along and calls on table 3, get a low two-tone board, 7-3 deuce. I'm going to go ahead and bet. I'm going to size up here with my strong but vulnerable value against a recreational player. Table 1, 2.5x open from the button. I'm in the big blind with queen 7, so we'll go ahead and defend for a call. Take a flop. Small piece of that, jack 7-6 rainbow. Check it and call it. Small flop bet. Good card for me, the queen on the turn, giving me queens and 7s. I'll continue checking. That's 2/3. I really only lose to flop sets and queen jack. I think that's going to be strong enough to go ahead and check raise. And put in a pretty healthy size check raise there. I'm not sure what my bluffs would be on the queen. Guess I could maybe bluff some gut shots that could no longer call. Probably have removal to the strong hands by doing that, though. Table 4, opening jack 6 suited, blind on blind. Table 1, open ace jack from the cutoff. Table 3, the limped pot that I checked in the big blind. Flop checks through. I'm just going to go ahead and stab really out of line against fish and limped pots, especially after they've checked once. Table 2, 2.5x open from the cutoff. I'll defend the big blind with queen jack. Take the flop. Table 4, open ace queen from middle position. Table 2, this checks through. I'm just going to go ahead and try to fold him off ace high, king high type hands. Really can't try to showdown queen high. Table 4, going to go ahead and stab small in position. Continuation bet small in position. Table 2, open ace jack from middle position. Get 3-bet out of the big blind. Type formation, big blind 3-bet. I tend to be pretty cautious against these. I don't think ace jack is really going to be much of anything but a fold here. Haven't even seen this guy 3-bet yet, not that it means too much at this early stage. It is a small size 3-bet. Still don't even think I can even be calling ace queen and bluffing ace jack here. So I'll just go ahead and fold it and go on to the next hand. Table 2, got a min open there from middle position. I'm in the big blind with queen 4, so they're going to be defending most of my suited cards against a min raise from there. Table 1 will open king 10 suited from middle position. Table 2, it checks through on jack deuce deuce rainbow. Turn is an ace of clubs. Still no real equity whatsoever. Not even an overcard anymore. I'll go ahead and continue checking. Checks again. Is there merit in trying to get him to fold off of a hand like king high or like a hand like pocket sixes? I think so on that particular board. I'm going to go ahead and stab. I just don't see queen high showing down against worse very often. Table 1, my middle position open gets 3-bet in position. I'm going to go ahead and use king 10 suited as a 4-bet combo. Queens plus ace king can stack off there, mix in some bluffs, like some of the suited broadways that aren't quite good enough to call. Hands like ace queen offsuit. That one through pretty quickly. Table 1, 3x open blind on blind, defend Jack 10 for a call. Table 4, blind on blind, will open ace 3 from the small blind. Small bet, I'm going to attack this pretty aggressively. I would prefer to have a bit more in the way of backdoors. Even a hand like King Jack is better with an overcard to go to 3 cards of the straight. Some kind of backdoor flush draw would be nice. I think I can fold Jack 10 even though it feels nitty. Table 2, limper, I'll check in with 8-7 suited. There's some potential silliness going on here with the min raise and then a pop up from 2 to 3. He may have just not understood that there was a min raise up there in this click, but we're going to keep an eye on that nonsense. Squeeze opportunity over here on table 1 with the under the gun player opening and a short stack recreational player calling. I do want to go after these pretty aggressively. I just don't know I can do it as loose as ace 10 though. Think about that for a minute. Yeah, I think that's a little too out of line. Table 3, gonna open queen 4 suited on the button. Two 2.5x open from the button of in table 4. Slightly nitty side player through the first few orbits. Not going to read too much into that necessarily quite yet. 7-3 suited, probably just outside of standard defense range anyway. So go ahead and muck that one. This guy is sizing up, and he's been super tight passive so far. Kind of on the cusp anyway here. I think I should go ahead and take the flop for a call against this guy. Now I'm going to go with the ace queen six top two pair. Table 2, going to defend my big blind with pocket 3. It's going to sit on the gun open. Table 4, going to open queen jack from middle position. Go ahead and check raise my set of 3s up there on table 2 on queen jack 3 two-tone. Go ahead and check and give him a chance to stab. Don't love that Broadway straight out there against my set of 3s. I just don't know that I can be jamming anymore on that particular card. I'm going to go ahead and just try to block bet. Not expecting a guy in this game is to turn a showdown value hand into a bluff on that board. Here we go. Stack the wreck down here. He had pocket kings. I was right to not get too wacky pre-flop and read his tightness and size up his strength. Or at least it checked out. Maybe I was right, maybe I wasn't. But the end result was good. I think the process was legit. Instead of 3's hand, I was against ace jack. So my block bet probably got me paid the maximum. Not sure if I think that's good or not, honestly. He should probably have folded the turn, to be fair. I don't think there was much going on with that weird 3-bet size. I think it was just a misclick, not understanding what was going on there. Not cold calling, not limping, not playing like a recreational player in any other sense of the word. I think I'll give him credit for a misclick. Table 4 will open aces from middle position. Table 4 flop top set, but on a scary monotone board, ace queen 9, all hearts. Go ahead and check. Plan to check call my top set here. He checks back and go ahead and start betting on the turn. Use a 3/4 size here on that flush possible board. Calls. River is the 7. Given I blocked the world here, I think I block bet this, and I think I call a raise. Not that worried about a flush, but possible sets decide to raise against that, or perhaps even a bluff with a heart blocker and a pocket pair that never improved. And I was against the set of nines. Really needed that board to pair to get paid big time. Table one, opening ace king from the cutoff. Get led into by the recreational player small on Jack Jack 7 Rainbow. I'm going nowhere with ace king high on that paired board. Be happy to check back if he lets me. Move this closer to showdown. River the king, I'll value bet now against another check. Planning to call most bet sizes we might see. He checks again. Go ahead and put in a 3/4 value bet with ace king, top pair, top kicker. Calls me. Oh, and he had a worse king. King deuce suited. Opted to lead on that flop. I don't think is a good play, needless to say. Just goes to show that small fish donks are typically not very strong hands. Table one, opening king 10 from middle position. Table 3, opening queens from the button. Table 1, get a 2.5x open from the button. I'll defend my big blind with king 8 suited. Got a gut shot in the backdoor flush draw on 9-7-5 Rainbow. He quickly checks back. Turn is the Rainbow completing king. Go ahead and check that one. I think I'd be overbetting or checking there for the most part after his check back. And marginal king is pretty reasonable hand to check back. River is a jack. I'll just go ahead and try to get some value out of my top pair at this point. Quickly folds. He wanted no part of that scary board, I suppose. Table 3, opening king 7 suited from middle position. Get 3-bet very large by the small blind on table 3. I will turbo muck my king 7 suited, especially against such a large 3-bet. Table 4, open queen jack from cutoff. Hit 3-bet by the button. I'll be folding that one. Table 1, a little bit late to open queen 9 from the cutoff, but with a recreational player in the big blind. I thought this guy was, but looks like he's more of just a nit. But we do have a rec in the big blind that I want to get a chance to play with. He's cold calling the small blind. I wonder if he's doing that to keep the recreational player in, or wonder if he just got something like a pocket pair that he doesn't want to 3-bet, but does want to see a flop with. Get an ace 8-6 two-tone board. I'll go ahead and put in a small bet here. Must they be checking back turns? Offsuit queen is a great one to check back because I now have some showdown value. River, the deuce of spades. I don't know that I can get enough value from the small blind and nitty type player 16, 12 over 50 hands so far here. Is he going to call me with... He doesn't really have worse queens, for God's sakes. Is he going to call me with a hand like pocket sevens, pocket nines? I think I'll just take my showdown. Might have called me with pocket tens, but probably not. I'm a guy that's thinking like that and playing that way. I think when I get called, it's going to be against hands like ace-x way more often than it is going to be like against a pocket pair that I beat. I'm okay with checking back there, even though I was better. Now he opens to 33. I got ace-king. It's not like I'm folding ace-king against some kind of crazy 4-bets or anything here anyway. Just going to go ahead and ship this all in. If he misclick, more power to him. He's doing that. He's got queen 10, so I think he just... I don't know what the hell he's... I'm not going to try to speculate. I got ace-king high and good against him. I didn't think he was a fish, but I think he just... I really think he misclicked and just was pressed in to have to call off there. Open queen 8 suited, blind down blind, get a 7-6 deuce board. A low board like that, I can just go ahead and check. Decent backdoor to the 8, but... Table 2, open queen jack from the button. Go ahead and stab half pot with it on the 5-3 deuce two-tone. Just fold the queen at there. If I had a heart in my hand or 2 diamonds, I'd continue. Table 2, I get called. Turn is the offsuit ace, so just go ahead and check back. River is the king. I guess I've got the nut no pair, but 4 to the straight out there. I think I just want to go ahead and turn this into a bluff. Less for pot on a board like that. Hold out lots of marginal pairs. Pocket pairs, hands like one of those wheel cards that paired up on the flop but never improved. $2.5x to 4x. I'm going to go ahead and give this guy a rec tag. Open limping from middle position. Suspected. Well, he hasn't actually limped so far in 40 hands. Let's see if the 3-bet comes in on me here. No, he just limp folds. Going to give him the rec tag. Recreational player open limps table 2. I'll go ahead and isolate from the button with ace king. He limp calls, getting 9-8-7. Two-tone board of which I have no relevant suit in my hand, no backdoors. He leads into me for about 40%. I am going to float that once. Board like this, I am not loving getting involved too lightly here. Now he goes and makes it 4 again. Do I really attack a board this scary with ace-king high? I think I float here just because I can river a pair that's still good against the weak parts of his range. Try to get some more information on the river. Now when he leads for 7. I think I'd turn this into a bluff at this point against another small bet. Get away with another one. Not giving much credit to recreational players using weak bet sizing. He opened limps. Let's go after him again. Raisy daisy, queen 9 suited. Get a 10-9 deuce rainbow board. I've got middle pair, backdoor flush draw. He checks to me. I'll go ahead and put in a small bet. Mostly checking back turns. Checking back turns on improved, planning to bluff catch rivers. Opening some rivers for value depending on the runout that we get. Table 2, opening pocket 4s under the gun. Get 3-bet in position and the recreational player calls behind. Very good spot to call because I've got 2 chances to stack these guys with the set. Getting into a larger pot for the same size call. Gladly call with 4s and look for that third 4. In position on the recreational player too. Lots of very good things about that spot. He donks to me in the 10-9 deuce 2-tone. I've got pocket 4s, no club. Just go ahead and instantly muck that one multi-way. Open limp, blind on blind, table 3. I'm going to pop him up with jack 4 suited. Going to go after those blind on blind open limps pretty aggressively. Not everything, but I think jack 4 suited still on the right side of that line. Against the limp 3-bet, however, going to go ahead and pitch that one in the muck. Table 4, opening king jack from middle position. Got called by two players in position. We'll be checking range. I've got a pretty strong top pair here. King Jack on King Queen 4 two-tone. Also have the King of Clubs in my hand, so things are looking pretty good so far. Turn is the Ace of Clubs, which no longer gives me top pair, but I do have the nut flush draw with the King of Clubs in my hand. Got shot as well to the 10. I'll keep checking this one. This hand will play just fine in a check call line. I don't think there's too much merit in trying to value bet this multi-way on a flush close, 3 Broadway board here with second pair, ace high. Just try to check it down, maybe bluff catch. Table 2, 2.5x open under the gun. I'll 3-bet my button with ace king. Ace king 3-bet gets called. We go ahead and put in a small bet on Jack 5 for a two-tone. No relevant suit in my hand here. Do have the overcards and backdoor Broadway draw. Check calls me. Turn is a 4, board pairing card. I actually can check back a lot of traps in this spot. Hands like pocket jacks are an ideal trap here as well. Don't need to be barreling as heavily. Barrel with my ace jack or better, maybe king jack. Yeah, ace jack or better probably. And over pairs. That's a jacks can check back. River that king for top pair, top kicker. Gotta feel pretty good about that. Go ahead and reopen for value here with the top pair, top kicker. Definitely be bluffing without much showdown value in that spot as well, too, as the king just has to be hitting my range so hard there, where I have all the ace king, he really doesn't have any. Table 2, opening 4 is from middle position. Table 4, open king 7 suited from middle position. Big blind calls, checks to me. I'll go ahead and bet small on jack 10 7 two-tone. Checking most turns. 7 is obviously the best one. Turn is the 8 of hearts, closing the flush draw, putting a 4 straight out there. Just go ahead and check that back. Bluffs would be naked hearts. Be betting flushes. Table 2, flop a set on ace 10 for two-tone. Go ahead and put in a small bet. Quickly calls. Turn is a 10. I got the full house. Gonna keep betting in my pocket 4s. A board like this, trying to think. I think I can just go ahead and bet like 3/4 on that paired board. I can still overbet the river. Put a 10 in a terrible, terrible spot. I do make trips, so I'm just going to take my showdown with the trips on that 4 straight board. River is the jack, puts Broadway out there. I guess a hand like ace 10 or jack 10 beats me. Other than that, I'm feeling real good about this. I'm going to go ahead and just overbet massively, chip it all in. Dare him to fold a good piece. Table 4, going to 3-bet ace king out of the big blind against the 2.5x cutoff open. Blind down blind, table 4, open ace 10 suited. Got a king, king 8 two-tone board. I'll go ahead and bet this one out small. Table 1, opening ace 5 from the button. Table 4, opening 7s from the cutoff. Recreation, that guy is kind of weird, spazzy. I'm not sure if he's a wreck or not. He's done some screwy shit, but he's got tight nitty stats. I'm gonna go ahead and put in a small bet on 8-7-3 two-tone. I do have the ace of spades as a backdoor runner flush draw. Table 4, my 7s get called by the small blind. I'll put in a small bet on Jack 9-4 two-tone and plan to start checking back turns. Blind on blind on table 3, my 6-5 suited gets 3-bet. I'm going to go ahead and put this into the 4-bet range. So he's been so nitty, I'm actually going to respond tighter and fold that. Just try to show down my 7s here. Show doesn't good against pocket 2s. Recreational player opens 4x on the button. I'm out of position with a small blind with pocket 8s. So I'm going to go ahead and 3-bet him here. Get an ace, king, jack two-tone board. Going to go ahead and put in a small bet against him here and mostly just be shutting down after that. Against that raise, I'll just go ahead and muck my 8s. Table 1, I backed into 2-pair on that ace river. Going to go ahead and reopen for value. And 8 suited blind down blind, a little bit loose over there, kind of on the cusp on table 4. If I thought he was a bad player, I'd go after him. And it's possible he might be. He's cold calling in some spots that are a little bit weird. But table 2, I want to open 9-8 from the button. Table 1, open king 9 suited under the gun. Couple new table 4s with some shorter or broken stacks. Looks promising down here in the new tables 3 and 4. I don't know if either of these guys are true wrecks. Up here on table 1. 3x open from him in the cutoff. I'm in the small blind with ace 10 suited. Even if he's not a wreck, that's a standard 3-bet. Go ahead and give it to him. Long for the call. Get a jack 9 deuce 2-tone board. I have the nut flush draws. Some sparks may be flying here one way or another. Go ahead and bet. He calls. Turn is a 7, giving me the gut shot to go with it as well. Go ahead and bet about 60%, slightly down, so this SPR is a little bit deeper on the river. Could go more like 75% as well, somewhere in that 60 to 75% range. Could be pretty good there. Table 1, open ace king from the cutoff. Table 1, open 9-7 suited for middle position. Kind of on the cusp, we have at least one confirmed rec right here in the blinds. He comes along for the call. We get a 9-6-5 2-tone board. I got the backdoor flush draw, go with top pair and my gut shot. I'll go ahead and bet out half pot. That low coordinated board. Turn is the deuce. Now, do I bet a hand like this, or do I check it? I think I'm going to bet a hand like this. It's worse than pretty much all 9s. I don't want to get 3 streets by going bet, bet, bet. I can reopen for value or bluff catch the river. Checks again. Reopen for value with second pair. A hand like ace 6 gets suspicious. Got king 8, so he rivered the overcard with his gut shot and his flush draw. He could have put me in a much worse spot by playing that hand more aggressively. I'm okay with it, though. Okay with how I played. Couple recreational players limp. My first hand on table 3. Checks through on king 5-4. Turn is the offsuit jack. Still a front door flush draw out there. River is the board pairing 5. I've got kind of a weak top pair. No longer even plays because the kicker. I'm going to check the check down or bluff catch on that board pairing card where all the draws bricked. Table 1, min raise under the gun. Recreational player flats his cutoff. I am in the big blind with queen 10. Gonna go ahead and call all my offsuit broadways in this spot here. Really, my offsuit connectors even too. Go ahead and check on the flop. Getting 9-7-4 rainbow. Nothing really doing here. Just overcards, get some backdoor straight draws. Not really going to plan to put any money on this flop. Anyone bets. However, on the 8 of clubs turn, putting a backdoor flush draw up there. I have an open ender and 2 overcards. I am going to start betting now. Under the gun player calls. Table 3 going to open 10-9 from the cutoff. A little bit loose for we got recreational players in both blinds. No risk in that room doing that. River is the board pairing 8. I've got a busted straight draw queen high. I am going to follow through with my bluff and just not give up a hand that can't win in that spot. And possibly fold him off draws. Pocket jacks, he's probably playing some kind of range check strategy on the flop, which I find to be completely reasonable. Especially if you can bait this guy into betting and check raise him. Not everyone will do that, so not everybody will be quite as strong as he was in that spot. I think my play is A-okay. 3x open from the button on table 1. I'm in the small blind with ace-king suited, so of course that's getting popped up. Got open limper, limps behind down here on table 4. Complete my small blind with 10-9. Opening it straight draw and jack 8-4 two-tone. Go ahead and check. Got a 10-10-5 rainbow board over here on table 1. Gonna go ahead and stab for half pot. Get a 3x, about a 75% stab. 60-65% stab. I'm just gonna go ahead and continue with the open ender, obviously. I don't see any real reason to check raise with Rex out there on a limp pot. Just go ahead and call my open-ended draw. Interesting turn card. The ace of spades giving me top pair, top kicker, but I'm going to be losing to the trips. I think I want to just go ahead and stab small here to put floating pocket pairs from the flop in a bad spot and to string along the ace high floats that now made a weaker top pair. He's got a 10, he's going to do me dirty no matter what. I think that small size makes a lot of sense there in that spot, especially after a bit larger flop size because the board was so low. I call the turn is the queen that makes my straight, but also makes a flush possible. I'm going to keep checking in flow here. I got 2 fish in there. River is a queen, board pairing card. Nobody bet the flush closer. I'm going to bet for value against these guys. No need to overbet when my hand loses to all flushes and full houses. But definitely want to try to get called down here, so I'll go ahead and use a more reasonable 3/4 size. One rec folds, the other one calls. I get paid by jack 9. So he had the flop top pair. Not going to make me for trip queens. He had a flush blocker, had a straight blocker. I doubt that was too much in a recreational player's calculus, but this call is not necessarily all that unreasonable. Table 4, going to isolate the under the gun recreational player limper from my button with ace queen. Table 1, opening king queen from middle position. Table 1, blind down, blind, 3x open. I'll defend my king jack for a call. I'll go to the flop. 8-7 deuce two-tone. I do have the jack of hearts in my hand to give my backdoor 4-card flush draw. He bets half pot. I think I can float this here. Coordinate a little bit with the 7-8. You know, mix some straights on 9-10. Got overcards. Got a heart in my hand. I'm going to float that one. Turn is a deuce. Doesn't help me know not picking up any equity in any way, shape, or form. Against the second barrel half pot. Like, I could start raising deuces now that we're in my flop call range. Really sure what I want to be bluffing with. I can still call with all the draws. Hand like this might even maybe be in the bluffing range. Table 4, open an 8-7 suited under the gun. We've got recreational players out there, so want to be involved with a few extra hands. Table 2, open king, queen under the gun. Table 4, I open the 8-7 suited. Recreational player calls me under the gun, or from the button rather. Got an ace-9-9 rainbow board. I got a backdoor flush draw. I got some backdoor equity here on a card like a 6 or a 10 as well. I'm going to go ahead and stab out small here to pick up fulls. Don't want to check call or check raise a hand like this here. Recreational player leads into me about 55-60% of pot, 3 into 523 on Jack 10-3 two-tone. I've got 2 overcards open in the straight draw, and the King of Spades for a backdoor 4-card flush draw. I'll be coming along. Now he slows down and checks. I'm going to go ahead and start bluffing here. Go ahead and use a smaller size here, like 3/4. Don't need to overbet. Table 3, open an ace-king on the button. Short stack goes ahead and jams all in for 27-28 blinds. Trivial call off with ace-king against another ace-king. It looks like we are chopping. Squeeze opportunity on table 2. Reg opens under the gun. The recreational player has been very active. Lots of donk leads, goes aheads and flats. I've got pocket 9s in the cutoff. I'm going to go ahead and go after him pretty aggressively. Definitely going after him with pocket 9s. Table 1, open queen 9 in the cutoff. Table 3, opening jack 10 in middle position. Both slightly loose, but going after recreational players still to act. Want to play more hands with them and be around to catch their punts before someone else does. Get a 9-7-5 rainbow board. Go ahead and stab half pot on that low connected board. Stab continuation bet half pot on that low connected board. Not a stab. Table 3, opening jack 9 suited from the button. Table 1, opening queen jack from under the gun. Loose but okay, especially with the wreck involved. Table 3, opening queen 10 suited from the cutoff. Table 2, isolating the recreational player limper from my button with ace 9 suited. Table 1, big blind calls, get a king 6-4 rainbow board. I'll go ahead and put in a small continuation bet. Pretty large 3-bet from the big blind over here. I don't need to be calling all that often. I can hold even a hand as strong as queen 10 suited against that. Recreational player limp calls, get an ace deuce deuce board. I'll just go ahead and put in a small continuation bet. Open an ace 8 suited from middle position on table 3. Table 1, I'm going to check back my queen jack on that 3 of spades. River is the queen for second pair. I am going to reopen for value. Not all that thin. I think not doing it would be too nitty. I could be against a better king, but I want to put pressure on these mid-pocket pairs or some kind of 6x, 4x hand that calls the flop. 48 short stack, jams over the top for 23 blinds. I think I can fold my ace-8 suited. I'm going to check back my aces and deuces 9 kicker over here on table 1. If he wanted to float that flop with air, give him a chance to bluff the river. And also looking to reopening for value against another check. He min raised me, or he min raises there with only about 27 blinds. I'm gonna give it back to him. He jammed on me. I jam on him. I'm gonna reopen for value with my aces and deuces. 9 kicker does play. I'll beat like a hand like ace 4, ace 5 if it calls. Limped pot over here. Recreational player min stabs on ace, queen, jack. Check call my queen 9. Go to the turn. Guy stabs again, 1 into 475 on that board pairing ace. I'll keep calling with my marginal showdown value here. I like the ace turn as a hard 300 the ace. Don't love the jack river as now he can actually have outdrawn my queen. And now he goes and he bets 29.54 to 665. Massive overbet. I do not need to bluff catch a fish on an ace-high double-paired Broadway flop board. Table 2 and open 7-6 suited under the gun. Opening light, opening a little bit loose. Going after this big blind player right here. Button calls me. Gonna go ahead and check range to the reg on 6-4-3 two-tone. Got top pair, got the gut shot, got the backdoor heart flush draw. Pretty decent piece of that board, all things considered. He stabs half pot. Still behind things like pocket pairs, or obviously if he'd flop the set somehow. We'll go ahead and just check call that. Great turn card for me, putting the open-ended straight flush draw out there and my 7 to the 4 straight. Table 2 gonna open king 10 suited under the gun. Goes ahead and he stabs. I think I'm gonna go ahead and just leave his hands that he's bluffing with in there. I don't see much merit in raising. Table 1 gonna open jack 10 suited from the cutoff. I'll keep check calling here. Table 3 go ahead and put in a small continuation by an ace 10 8 rainbow. Got second pair top kicker, backdoor flush draw. He had 9-8, so I guess he actually could have made a 7 and made the nutter butter straight against me with a straight on the board. Leaving his bluffs in seems like it was probably pretty prudent at that point. Get check called on table 3. Turn is a 6, putting a backdoor flush draw up there. Go ahead and check back my second pair top kicker. Table 4, rec limps. I'll isolate the button with ace-queen suited. Table 1, my cutoff open gets 3-bet in position. I'll go ahead and defend for a call, especially with this guy who's kind of like a weird half fish. Go ahead and do that. Rec limps blind down blind. I'm going to isolate him from my big blind with king 8 suited. Get overbet into here. I don't see any real need to call the overbet down on the ace-high flop in tight formations. I even block some of the gut shots like king jack, king queen. Table 1, that 3-bet pocket, an ace queen 6 two-tone board. I've got a gut shot, that's about it. Table 2, he limp calls blind down blind, get an 8-4-4 rainbow board. I'll continuation bet small. I got top pair second kicker with the king 8. Table 3, 2.5x button open. I'll 3-bet the big blind with 10-8 suited. Table 1, it checks through. Return is the flush closing 5. I've still got the gut shot, but no relevant flush cards in my hand. I'll continue checking. Maybe bluff the river if nobody shows any desire for this pot. You hit a non-club king and value bet. Against that turn Stabble's, go ahead and fold. Buddy, the recreational player in the 3 seat on table 2, open limps again. This time he does it from the button. I'm in the small blind with 9-6 offsuit. Starting to get pretty far down the list of possible hands to limp behind. I am limping behind a lot, but I think I'm going to draw the line right around there. Excuse me, right around there. Table 1, blind on blind, 3x open. I'll 3-bet my Jack 10 suited. Table 3, recreational player limps. Another player limps behind. I'll isolate from the button with Ace King suited. Table 1, get an Ace 7 deuce rainbow board. I've got the backdoor flush draw. I'm going to go ahead and put in a small bet. You can keep barreling cards like 8s, 9s, kings, queens, diamonds. Lots of ways to pick up some equity here, actually, on this board. 9 is one such card that allows that. Put in that second turn barrel here with that gut shot on the 9. Table 3, middle under the gun opens 2x. I'm in the cutoff with king, queen. I'm going to go ahead and pop that one up. Table 4, we're going to open 10s under the gun. This silly guy jams over the top. Only got to call 16 to 34. I only need 32% equity or so to be profitable call. We're going to go ahead and look this one up with king, queen high. We're racing against 8s. Don't win the race, but I don't care. Table 1, opening 6s from the button. Table 2, opening ace 3 from the button. Table 4, I open 10s under the gun. Recreational player calls in position, as do both blinds, at least one of whom is a rec. In fact, they both look an awful lot like recs to me right about now. Check range was going to call against the half pot stab from the 95-0 VPIP rec here. However, against the small check raise and the monotone board from the small blind, I am going to be out of there real quick. This weird spazzy player leads into me 3/4 on queen 10 5 2-tone. Got pocket 6s, no diamond in my hand. I think that one's going to be okay to fold. Table 2, both blinds call me, one of whom is a rec. The big blind, we checked around actually on ace 8-5-4 rainbow. I maybe could have bet the gut shot, but I think checking behind's okay. I want to focus my bluffs more around the 6x and 7x region. He leads into me about half pot on the jack. I think I'm just going to let this one go. Table 3, cutoff limp, small blind completes. I check the big blind with queen 7. We check around on 8-6-3 rainbow. Turn is a 4, giving me a gut shot. We get a half pot bet here. I think we are going to not let that stand. Put in a 3/4 raise against that small jab, mostly following through on rivers. Table 2, open ace-jack suited. From the cutoff, recreational player calls on the button. I'm just going to check to him with my ace-jack high on 10-10-3 rainbow. Turn is the deuce. I'm going to semi-bluff raise with my gut shot, and I hit that 5. 4, 5, 6. I hold the 7. We got the 8. Going to go ahead and value bet that. Blast for pot. Going to keep checking my ace-jack high here to this rec. Moving towards showdown cheap, maybe bluff catching. He bluff caught me with 5-4, so he rivered the second pair. 4 straight. Table 2, he rivered the pair with 7-6 suited. Squeeze opportunity on table 4. 3x open under the gun. Recreational player calls the button. Seems like it's awful out of line to try anything like that. Do this one. Gonna cut the session pretty soon here, and I'm gonna bother filling this last table as I'm gonna cut it off in an orbit or two. I'll try to fill it in the meantime, I guess. Just know it's not gonna last for long. Probably should just kept the one I had for the sake of it. Post to the next hand. It's gonna work out okay. Min open under the gun on table 3. I'll 3-bet my cutoff with ace jack suited. A standard 3-bet there. The new table 1, button on 17, 18 blinds, open limp, so I'll pop them up from my big blind with pocket 10s. Get a queen 8-8 two-tone flop. No real merit in betting here with slightly over pot size bet left, but I will check to sort of induce. Allow him a chance to stab with this air. I don't think I can really be folding pocket 10s really at any point here, but checking to this guy and giving him the chance to bluff or let me show down for free seems pretty good. Like to avoid an ace or a king, to a lesser extent a jack. Flush closing 4, double paired board. I'm going to keep checking my 10. Not going to try to get cute and try to value bet against ace high. Some merit for that in some cases. I don't feel like it's going to be great there. He had 3-6, so if I bet there, I take away his chance to bluff. Really should have bluffed at some point with 6 high. The hand just can't. I think he played the board, for God's sakes. Table 2, opening queen 8 suited from the button. Get 3-bet by the big blind up to 11, standard size 3-bet. I don't need to be defending hands that weak. Just a normal size 3-bet. Even in a button-based formation. Blind on blind, 3x open, recreational type player opens. I'll defend my big blind with king 9, go to the flop. Could he jack 6-3 rainbow? No real piece of it. Do have an overcard, in theory, some kind of weak backdoor straight draws. I think I could just go ahead and fold the hand like that, though. Looking for a little something more going on to start floating. Don't want to start floating too crazily. There's spots where you can take advantage of these players where they make mistakes, but in some level you still have to have some equity backing you up. It's awful slim equity right there, king 9 on that particular board. Table 1, opening blind on blind with King Jack suited. Get 3-bet from 3 to 10, slightly larger than typical 3-bet, but nothing we don't run across from time to time. And defend my suited broadways, a lot of pocket pairs, and like ace queen. Would be 4-betting 10s or better, and ace king to get him in a hand like this plays good as a call. Go to the flop, king 8-3, two-tone. I got top pair, decent kicker. Table 2, opening queen 10 from middle position. Gonna go ahead and flat the small flop bet. Continue checking. Don't think it's quite strong enough to check raise and get in, but I think check calling to leave his bluffs in is going to be okay. Draws all bricked, which is good. I mean, I could have been crushed along with ace king, aces, hand like that. Had ace 4 with an ace of diamonds, ace 4 offsuit. Like this table is breaking pretty quick. Guess these guys didn't want any piece of me after all, huh? And I will cut the session here. The next orbit comes around. Table 3, 2 1/4 open from the cutoff. I'm in the small blind with a very standard 3-bet hand. King, queen suited. Going to go ahead and put that raise in now. Table 3, opening ace queen suited from the button. Big blind comes along. Lousy board for me. 9-8-6, two-tone, no relevant suit in my hand, even a backdoor draw. Still going to stab at half pot because it seems to work pretty well, but if you're going to start splitting ranges on the flop, this is the kind of board where it's going to make sense to do so. This is the kind of hand to be in the check back range. Against the check raise, even against such a small check raise, just nothing doing here. Not going to flip with ace queen high in a coordinated board with no backdoor draws to speak of. Got a 3x open from middle position on table 4. I'm in the cutoff with pocket 8s. That one's kind of on the cusp, but very reasonable. The 3-bet going to go ahead and keep the pressure up on these guys. Table 3, open ace-6 suited from middle position. Last hand on table 2, going to open Jack-10 under the gun, expanding my range to play ideally against the player in the big blind. Table 3, open ace-5 suited under the gun. Everyone folds except my buddy in the big blind. He donks into me for 3 into 523. A little bit larger size up, very weak equity. I do have a heart for a backdoor draw on King 7 for a two-tone, but it's only the Jack of Hearts, and it's going to be a 4-card flush draw. I guess there's some backdoor straight draws on like the 8, the 9, the Queen, the Ace, but no overcards. A little bit smaller flop, but I can talk myself into floating this week. I think I'll just let this one go. And so congratulations, bro. You get over me on the last hand. I am signing off and cutting the session for now. Thank you very much for watching. Till next time, this is Charlie Murphy signing off.